Anyone here? 7 turnings of the moon pass, and no signs of the strange entity are reported. Faye finally hears from Professor Arcana, who has some interesting findings. The professor explains that the Hollow Mountain area, the lush plains, and hills are the site of an old-world city of tall towers and lower-level buildings, now buried by nature reclaiming the land. Some of the more accessible places from Faye's previous adventures are in this area. Near the surface, mostly smashed, cave-like brick rooms on the top floors of the smaller grass and brush-covered buildings. Faye never imagined the hollow towers were part of a huge ruined city with buildings, streets, and alleyways buried below her feet. Professor Arcana also reveals that the bunker under the old city is mentioned in a faded, hard-to-read old-world document found in a buried case in a brick ruin in Druin, made from a battered, strange, but smooth material that doesn't decay as much as most other things, partially protecting the paper. Inside, a similar material to the bendable, shiny discs in his office, among many other strange items found over the centuries. The professor continues to explain that the bunker discovered by Faye is one of many similar places deep under the earth across the world, and many of the countries of the old world contributed to building them for usually military or scientific purposes. The rest of the documents are too decayed to decipher, and the professor could not glean any more information from them. Over the days and nights, news soon spreads about the buried city, and prospectors and hunters of old-world artifacts proceed to smash through the buried brick walls around the tower, moving deeper into the innards of the small structures to lower room levels, looking for anything still usable or to sell for profit to collectors. However, the ruined tower opening is sealed up by the giants, on order of the Elven Town Council elders, due to safety concerns. Some of the townsfolk in the tent city do not believe the elders and gossip to each other, spreading rumors of fear and superstition from stories told for centuries surrounding these strange hollow mountains. The 20-foot melted hole above the bunker is surrounded by a recently erected wooden fence and gate. The hole is fitted with a wooden A-frame and hydraulic lift, allowing access for investigators to explore the remaining rooms surrounding the now-destroyed underground dome area. Faye, feeling down due to recent events, visits her younger sister, Anwin, in the town of Green Hollow, spending time in the town square and market. It's a sunny day with a clear blue sky, and both are drinking shroom ale, smoking and sharing a herb called canis from a curved ornately carved pipe. Sitting at a table outside a tavern, the two pixies chat and reminisce about their recently lost friends in Greenhaven, swapping stories about happier times, while getting high on the mildly intoxicating hallucinogenic brew and canis. Sometime later in the day, both sisters are crashed out, asleep on hammocks in the beautiful garden area of the tavern. The amused troll tavern owner grunts and laughs at the slumbering pair and quickly collects empty tankards from tables. Much later, the two groggy-headed pixies go back to Anwin's treehouse and settle down for the night. Faye wakes up at dawn, chirping birds can be heard in the trees, and the morning activities of the townsfolk preparing for the day fill the air. Faye sits on the porch outside. "Good morning," she says to a passerby walking on the path below. The passerby reciprocates, takes off his hat, does a respectful bow, and smiles, then happily goes on his way. It is customary and considered good manners for males, in some situations, to bow to females in pixie and elven communities, a tradition dating back even before the two groups resurfaced from the earth. Later in the afternoon, Faye is in the market on square to visit the master blacksmith, Jacoby, a rugged 8-foot Noonian male, an offshoot race of the giants but smaller in size, averaging around 8 feet, who mostly live in the Canyonlands desert area, close to the ocean far west. Faye wants to upgrade her armor, ready for any possible encounter with the entity from the bunker. Jacoby is skilled in his art of metallurgy and aether alchemy, the best at creating steel armor mixed with gold and infused with molten aether. When metal hardens, it results in super light and very strong pixie armor that fits the shoulders, upper arms, breast, and upper thighs perfectly, so it doesn't encumber their movement, especially in flight. Faye's armor is scribed with rune symbols and spirals, making each set of armor personal to the wearer. In the far south, 1,500 leagues from the lowlands of Green Hollow, there is an extremely hot place where very little grows, an area about 25 leagues in length and 10 leagues wide called the Long Road. It is a destroyed, broken, rusted landscape of an old-world city with artificial concrete tumbled towers and twisted, rusting, petrified hulks of ships on the beaches of the Southern Ocean. Most of the city is petrified and turned to stone due to previous mud floods, flooding, and upheavals of land from the time of the Great Destroyer. The Long Road weaves through the dead city, formed by centuries of travelers cutting a safe path to the other side, searching the mountain-like ruins as they go. It is a dangerous, polluted environment where straying from the path could result in death or injury from dangerous feral animals, mainly large packs of mutant dogs, wolves, and other predators ready to attack unaware travelers, a place full of ghost stories, myths, and legends. The Long Road is a shortcut, albeit a dangerous one, for roving caravan trains pulled by horses. Sometimes, large oxen are used to transport goods to the ocean to trade with the seafarers, a mix of different races of pirate types living at the port of Brune. They prefer wandering the sea in giant wooden ships powered by steam, and they also distrust the free energy of ether. Centuries ago, many people chose to live like pirates as depicted in some of the few surviving faded posters of perceived old-world entertainment, pasted on walls in less damaged, dry brick tunnels underground. Most other tunnels are filled with mud or flooded, resulting in petrified areas, much like the rest of the city. The Long Road is one of the few places in the known world not completely overrun by centuries of nature, mainly due to the theory that something from the old world killed the soil and slowed the land recovery. Others say the land was poisoned by strange, huge death shrooms depicted in horrifying images from some old books. But no one really knows. That the city is avoided by most, except the hardiest of travelers. A wagon train of 4 horse and 2 bullock drawn elven caravan stops and settles for the night in the grass and dust-covered streets, a league or so into the petrified city on the Long Road, to avoid traveling the decaying city in darkness and accidentally straying off the path. Besides the risk of wild animals, there is danger of falling through rotting roofs of old buried buildings, hidden as dirt-covered mounds, which can deceive those unfamiliar with the route previously mapped to show the safest way through. The weary travelers proceed to set up a perimeter of wagons in a circle with a central fire. To keep predators at bay, the elves take turns, keeping watch while the rest sleep in their wagons, sitting at the fire with another elf. An aging male elf and leader of the group witnesses a strange star or light in the distance, at the center, above the decaying cityscape. This alerts the others as the light hits the ground, with some force a few leagues away, creating a flash that lights up the stone mountains in its vicinity, followed by an explosion so powerful it topples some of the ancient, weakened towers, sending a circular blast in all directions, and toward the elven camp, shaking people, caravans, and the ground across the center of the city. Briefly, wolves and other animals run away in terror from the blast, many through the camp, ignoring the people as they go. The travelers, in a panic, can no longer sleep. So they sit around the fire, drinking shroom ale, discussing what they saw, until dawn rises. As the sun comes up, daylight reveals a plume of smoke rising from the center of the long-dead city, high above the remaining towers. In the direction of the Long Road to the south, the elves pack up their wagons and head toward the impact site to see what happened, hoping their way is not blocked, and they can continue their journey southward to the coastal city of Brune. Some time later, the caravan of wagons finally reaches the site. The smoke eases off, and the elves notice a melted hole going deep underground at the impact site, with tall towers around, knocked over like dominoes. Then the realization sets in. This event is the same as the destruction at Greenhaven. Luckily, the way is not blocked, and the wagon train proceeds on its journey, hurrying to leave the area out of fear of what unknown horrors might be present. 3 turnings of the moon later, word spreads across the land that something is affecting the environment and people. Something sinister, resonating through the network of mycelium, connecting all trees and plants, produced by ether and shrooms. The Fet Fae and elves can pick up signals from this source, making them sensitive to changes within the local environment. Back at the second site on the long road, Humes and Noonians are quick to set up digging machines. Determined to get underground to search the giant complex, Noonians, being smaller than their much larger cousins, enter the subterranean world through the recently formed melted hole, digging out underground doorways destroyed days before. The Humes stabilize the area above. Many hours pass, and what is found is disturbing. Evidence of a second entity in a similar central dome, only this time mostly rotted away and dead, in a fetal position in its damaged domed cocoon, established that this entity has been dead for centuries. The base was destroyed over time and not as well preserved as the site at Greenhaven, with some flooding in the lower levels destroying old power generators. There is also evidence of recent destruction of objects in the main domed room, burnt, melted, and thrown around as if in anger. This makes the Noonians nervous, and they decide to leave. Having seen enough, the hole is filled by a huge digging machine, made safe. And everyone leaves the site before nightfall.